Well, I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going to go with this. Is there a relationship between breathing while sleeping underneath the blankets and learning disabilities? So again, I did a small survey, this time only about 400 submissions, comparing sleeping practices to that of learning disabilities. And again, comparing levels of covering their breathing from totally covered to being totally exposed to fresh air, to different levels of aid needed in school, from being independent to needing some help, to learning in a self-contained classroom as being the neediest. This survey is not meant to be definitive, but to provide direction whether further research would be worth undertaking. And yes, I did find a positive relationship between sleeping underneath the blankets and learning disabilities. Considering those who indicated that they needed help in one area, the data showed that about 13% could be attributed to sleeping under the covers. For those who indicated that they needed help in all areas, that percentage jumped to 22%. For those who were taught in a self-contained classroom, usually indicating a more severe need and identification, that percentage jumped to 34%. So there appears to be a progression. Looking at it another way, through all the different surveys, it appears that overall, in the general population, almost 10% sleep totally covered. When you broaden that to include those that will cover up to about eye level, that jumps to 20 to 25%. When surveying those who were formally identified, either autism, dyslexia, ADD, ADHD, OCD, and others, those identified showed a percentage of sleeping partially or totally at 75%. That's triple the rate of the general population. That is significant. So there does appear to be a relationship, a positive relationship, between sleeping under the covers and learning disabilities. Do I believe that sleeping under the covers causes learning disabilities? I don't know. I do believe that it weakens learning and educational performance. When you consider the relationship between memory and sleep, how could it not? Should children be encouraged not to sleep underneath the covers? Absolutely. The question is, why are they doing it? Is it just a behavior, learned or otherwise? Or is it a response to something considered in the previous video, their autonomic system or metabolism? Next, is there a link between learning disabilities and Alzheimer's? Depending on which age group is being used, people with learning disabilities are about 3 to 5 times more likely to get Alzheimer's. Why is that? Is sleeping under the covers the link? Or is it what causes some to sleep under the covers? This research is so important, as the solution may be very simple and easy to put into effect. And these solutions may also help those with early onset Alzheimer's, which is considered genetically based. Before I stop talking about sleeping under the covers, it was found that women, more than men, sleep under the covers by about 40% more. Why? I have no idea. But is that the reason why women, more than men, suffer Alzheimer's? Or is it because men, more than women, stay physically active, as exercise has shown to reduce Alzheimer's? A significant concern of mine that has not been tested or even researched is whether pregnant mothers who sleep under the covers result in children who have learning disabilities. Are these women, by sleeping under the covers, depriving their fetus of sufficient oxygen, which results in other outcomes? Or do they just pass on this sleeping behavior onto their children as they permit the practice? Did you know that it has been found that those who have learning disabilities perform better the more they exercise, with some special ed programs integrating workouts into their daily routine? And did you know that exercise is also considered one of the main methods to increase metabolism? Now, exercise is a stimulant, and so is Ritalin, the common drug used to improve those with learning disabilities. So thinking out loud, is stimulation through exercise, stimulation through diet, stimulation through supplements, or stimulants through drugs the cure that will prevent Alzheimer's? And of course, along with avoiding sleeping under the covers. Other questions I have are metabolism and the autonomic system set near birth. Is there a learning function to these that depends on conditions before and just after birth? So I have many questions. My hope is that some young medical researcher will consider the ideas I put forth here worth pursuing. I'm hopeful and optimistic that this research would lead to reduced learning disabilities and reduced Alzheimer's. However, looking for the next best drug may not be the answer. Allow me to use an analogy here. Trying to improve Alzheimer's by removing the beta amyloid is like trying to put out a fire by filtering the smoke. It may help a bit, but not get to the root of the problem. Why is the beta amyloid being produced in the first place? I'm not confident that removing the amyloid will help very much. My hope is that some will get the message about not sleeping under the covers, that it enriches their lives, and that it might even reduce Alzheimer's by as much as just 1%. So time for me to stop talking. I have no product to sell, nor a Patreon account. I don't want anyone's money. However, I would appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up or share with someone who you consider may benefit. Or make a comment below. Thanks for listening. You should find a link to the first video, I think, over here, and the next over here. Anyhow, take care.